So today's topic is running a real container, right? So this container is going to be um, an operating system, Ubuntu. So let's first start by opening terminal. Let's open our terminal first. So here let's type a command, that is docker run it and name of the image, which is Ubuntu. Now hit enter. It's saying that unable to find image Ubuntu latest locally. So what it's doing is that it's pulling the image from Docker Hub and then it's downloading, and after that it will run the container Ubuntu. Okay, now we are inside this Ubuntu container where we can perform commands like ls. It will give us all the list of important files or important folders that are available. We can also type this command pwd, which is present working directory. It says it's inside the root directory. We could type this, that is cat etc, to print the first few lines of this release. So this is here you can see the name of it is Ubuntu 24.04. The name is Ubuntu, version is 24.04, and all the information over here. So we are inside the Ubuntu container, right? Now let's get out of this Ubuntu. We have exited from this container. Now let's try to understand some few few concepts of Docker Run, how Docker Run actually works. So back to this board. So here let's do one thing, that let's try to understand Docker Run command. So this command, let's try to understand this command, right, which is the Docker Run, right? So here, what is Docker Run? First I'll write a whole command, that is docker run it and Ubuntu. Now I'll mark this first, this, then this and this. Now what is a Docker Run actually does? So Docker Run, what it does is that it yes, just a second. So yeah, so what Docker Run does is that it creates plus it starts container. So this is the you can say function, or you can say the task of this Docker Run that it's intended for. Now what it does, IT is basically a flag that says interactive, open interactive terminal. So as we have seen in this, when we used this IT flag, it has opened this interactive terminal where we performed all the, or where we have run all the Linux commands like ls, pwd, this cat, etc. So IT opens an interactive terminal where we can actually interact with it. Now Ubuntu. What Ubuntu is? It's the uh, name of the image. In previous video, the name of the image that we have used was, you can say it was Hello World, but now we have used Ubuntu. This is the name of the image, right? So this is the understanding of Docker run, the command, what Docker run actually does. As I said, it creates plus starts the container, then it opens the interactive terminal by using this IT flag, and this is the name of the image. Now what Docker does is that, now let's understand what Docker does. Right, what Docker does. So the answer is really very simple. Let's try to understand what Docker actually does. So when we run this command, that is this command, what see this command this what Docker does is that it first check local image. It checks whether the image is available or not. If that image is basically missing, just a second. If the image is missing, what it does is that it downloads the image from Docker Hub. Sorry, Docker Hub, right? Then after that, what it does is that it creates the container and then it runs it. So this is what Docker actually does. So what it does is that it first checks yeah so what it does, it first checks the local image. If the image is missing, it downloads the image from the Docker Hub. Then it creates the container and then it runs it, right? Now let's try to understand the difference between image versus container. What image and container actually is. As we have seen in our previous lecture, right? Just a second, I'll try to select it first. Yeah, so this image versus container, what image actually is, right? So image, so as I said earlier, that image is nothing but a blueprint or recipe, and container is the running instance of that particular image, right? So what like what if we want to what if we want to print the list of images? How we could do that? We could simply do that by typing the command, and that is docker image on the terminal. So open the terminal and just type docker image, sorry, images, and here you can see the list of images that are available in our local, that are available locally. So these are the list of images, right? Now let's try to run the mm, what if we want to check the list of running containers? How we could do that? We could do that with the help of command, that is docker ps. PS basically stands for the process state. So if we run docker ps on the terminal, it gives us this, because currently there is no container that is running, because we have already exited from this Ubuntu container. So that's the reason it's showing me empty. So basically this is nothing but the table where there are all the names of the columns, that is container id, image, command, created, status, ports, names, all the things, right? Now what if we want to list all the containers? All the containers means the containers that are running as well, and the container that I have exited as well, or I have stopped its execution. So for that I'll use docker psa. So this basically means process state, and this flag basically means list all the docker um, containers. So I'll use the command, that is docker ps and a. So here you can see the container id, which is this name of the image, the command that I have used, created 11 minutes ago, status which is exited 9 minutes ago, the no ports, and the name of it is sad dwelling. So this is the this is the list of all the containers that basically that I was running, or that I stopped from execution, right? Now there is one important note that you should keep in mind, and that is just a second, important note, I'll give it over here, and that is uh, containers can stop, right? Containers can stop, but images do not. What it means is that we can stop the container, we can stop the execution of container as much as we want, but we cannot stop the execution of images, or we cannot stop image, because image is immutable, and basically it as it's immutable, we could not stop it, we couldn't stop it. So this is the important note that you should basically uh, keep in mind, that container can stop but images do not, right? So let's move on to the next part, that is what if we want to run a background service, that is run a background service. Let's run one background service. uh, Now what we will do is that we'll run one background service uh, by using the command that is docker run. I'll basically use more spaces so that you would understand what each and every command basically means. You do not need to put spaces while putting this command on the terminal. So this command and this nginx. So I'll explain you this command first, then we'll execute the command on container. Yeah, just a second. So docker run, basically what it does, we all know it creates or creates plus start the container, right? A D basically means detached. Detached basically means run this in background. It basically means run this in background. This in together basically means that it basically means that it's host plus container port, and nginx is basically name of the image. Nginx is basically it's basically a web server which is used for load balancing and all, right? We are just using it to give you example of running a background service, so you don't need to stress out more on this, right? We'll just try to run this command on our terminal. So let's try to run this command on our terminal. First I'll try to clear this out, and let's run the command, which was docker run d colon p and the name of the host, port, and what it was name of the machine, that was nginx. When I'll click on enter, it says that unable to find the image locally. It's unable to find the image locally, so it will basically download the image, and then we'll check it. We'll try to open the browser, and then we'll try to check it. So let's wait for a couple of minutes till it's extracting and completing all the downloads that are required. Yeah, so here we have downloaded the image. It's running the container. We could also check docker ps. So here you can say the container is basically running right now, which is created 11 seconds ago, and status is up to 10 seconds, which is running on the port 8080, right? So let's open the browser and let's try to type this, that is http local host 8080, and when we'll click on it, it says that welcome to nginx. If you see this page, it basically means that we have successfully installed the server, web server. We have deployed it, right? by using the background command. Now let's try to let's try to clean up all the thing. What if we want to stop the execution, right? So for that, what we'll basically do is that here we know the container ID, right? Or I want to remove all the thing. So basically what I'll basically do is that um sorry, first I'll clear it. Docker PSA, it gives me list of all containers. Now first is I want to remove the container basically. So I'll say docker remove name, then you need to paste this container ID. Now here it says that we cannot remove container which is currently running. So it's currently running, so we need to use the command that is stop, and then we'll need to push this. Now it has stopped the execution of this container, and when we again check docker ps, it says there is nothing because we have already stopped the execution of this container. Now as I said that I want to remove the container. I have removed the container. Now if I check by using this command, sorry, this command, here you can't see the container ID for nginx, right? Now let's do the same thing with rm. I want to remove this as well. Copy and paste. Right, now again if I check docker psa, there is nothing, there is no container and nothing, we have removed the container. Now if we check by using docker images, these are the images that are available, that is ubuntu and nginx are available. I want to remove that images as well. So for that I will use the command that is docker rmi and name of the image, that is nginx. It has removed the image. Now I want to remove the ubuntu as well. It has removed ubuntu as well. Now let's check whether the images are removed or not. So here you can see that there are no images, nothing. We have successfully removed the images as well. So let's have a brief summary of what we did. We actually we were running the real container. We we understood the command docker run, what it actually does. We run this ubuntu container, and we have performed some of the linux commands as well. We know what docker actually does. It first checks local image, then if it's missing, it downloads from the docker hub, it creates the container, then it runs it. After that, image versus container, we have seen the list of images, we have seen the list of running containers, and this as well. It gives list of all the containers, whether they are stopped or running. This is the important note that you should keep in mind, that is containers can stop but images do not, right? Then after that we have we were running a background service of nginx web server, right? And we also checked the browser and opened the browser, and we were a successful message was also seen on the screen, that was you have successfully deployed the nginx server. So yeah, this was all for this video. In the further video, we'll create our own image. We'll try to create a short Python project, and we'll try to create a docker file, then a Docker image and the container, right? So stay tuned and subscribe to this channel if you like the video, right? All right.